Hello, and welcome once again to Age of Wonders Planetfall. My name is Orange. Today I'm going to maybe get around to doing a tactical video with the Amazons, but there's a few things I want to talk about first that if they take too much time I'll skimp out on the tactics later. But the things I really want to cover first are auto clearing and how you have to change your considerations when in multiplayer well, again, in the simultaneous turn multiplayer that I tend to play, you can't just lean on always being able to fight a battle if you don't want to lose a unit. So if you have to auto a fight, what fights might you be able to take? What fights can't you take? And what else do you have to account for? Because you're going to lose units. It's going to happen. And how do you account for that? Second, once again, I'm going to just kind of do this live. Hopefully I won't be totally embarrassed, but this will also be another chance to kind of see a little bit of how I might approach my first couple, 5 to 10 turns. We'll see how far we get of expansion. I will probably go really quick through research, won't be paying a whole bunch of attention to it, but we'll see. Finally, if I do get to a tackle fight, I will do my best to cover some things that I think are always pertinent, regardless of what race you are. And if we have time, which we probably won't, then I will talk a little bit about what I think the Amazons in particular are trying to accomplish in tactical fights with the racial units. I should specify that, because secret texts make a big difference, obviously. So this is a fresh game, small map, 2 players, so just me and 1 AI. I am Amazon Celestian, hence why I'm Sky Puncher. That'll make sense in a minute. I started with, I don't think there's an easy way to show that. I have the extra text mod. I'm riding a pony, well, dinosaur pony. I have the minus perk that, it's not a perk, but the debuff that I lose food but gain health. And I think I took the secret text, or cheaper secret text and better pickups is my last perk, something like that. None of that's super important. I kind of just did that really fast, just to have something that I can play. Turn 1, again, there's the normal stuff to think about, which is I will want something to start with. Let's do production, I guess. Queue up a Huntress and queue up a Shrike. We'll see how that gets me. As far as scouting, growth, how nearby, that's probably fine. Let's just be at peace with him, because I don't... Well, maybe it should have been... Well, I can always reverse that. Because that would be a little bit of a tougher fight to talk a little more about clearing. So those are the first couple of decisions. Now comes the one I really want to talk about, which is clearing. I didn't start with the bigger army, so this is the default army. I said in a previous video that I almost always take my scout out, which is true, but depending on what's around, you may not want to do that. Now, I'm tentatively going to play nice with the growth, so I won't fight them, although this actually is an easy enough fight. I might try with 5 units anyways. So let's take the scout out, and we'll forget to pick that up because I'm not paying attention. So anyways, back to what I got. I got 5 units to start with. I have a bonus because I have a mounted melee unit with a ton of health. That's going to be a pain for the opponent to get through. Huntresses are typically pretty bad at clearing. Biomancers aren't great. Well, they're okay. They help. So what am I looking at to clear? The first 2 or 3 clears you do in a game are probably your most important. Units become a lot better at clearing when they get a couple levels of veterancy behind them, so they're not quite so squishy. That tends to make stuff a lot more survivable, and you won't be losing units. So, for my first clear, I have yeah, what do I have in range? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 options, which is actually a little high. I think that's more than I would normally expect. One of them is a production stockpile, which is fine. That's actually really good to get from a colony development standpoint. It's guarded by 3 melee units, a Lancer and 2 Frenzied. This is a pretty easy win, but I might still lose a unit just because if the melee can get up to me and hit, that'll be scary. Plus, I do have 1 melee unit, so if they focus that, I could even lose my hero right away. So we'll think about that if we want to try that or not. The second one is the Growth, which this looks a little bit weaker than I would normally expect. I have 2 tier 2 units, but this is a melee tier 2 unit with the Vine Sprout. It's okay. This has a pretty good ranged attack and life drain, but only on the melee. So it's also okay. I'm not super worried about it. Beetle babies are not super scary. They're probably bad against something like Kyoko because of Death Rattle, but for me, I would take that fight. I probably would lose a unit, but if I felt like I needed to, I would take it. This stack is a bunch of quote sites. Quote sites are usually pretty easy. There are some exceptions to that because they have immunities, which you have to pay attention to. However, the quote sites for Amazons are really good because they have the biochemical weakness, and I do a lot of bio damage. Finally, the last stack is a couple of Manhunters and another Beetle Baby. Every now and again, the Hopper Hounds can kill a unit you wouldn't think should die, but that's a really easy stack. So as I went through all these, that's probably more thought than I would normally put into it. Normally I would just check on what type of unit it is and maybe what they're guarding, and I won't go into all that much detail. But a lot of that is because the best way to get good at auto is to force yourself to do it all the time. And then you kind of get a feel for it. It's in some ways less a science than an art, and I am not the best person at auto that I know. In fact, I'm probably a little worse at it because I don't do stuff like watch exactly what the AI does after the fight. I kind of just take it and accept what happens, and assume that I can make it up. If I lose a unit, that I can make it up on the strategy level. So all that being said, this is size 3. Let's do a little bit of... I can get that to 2. There's no pickups around. Yeah, let's go it. The research is nice for initial pickup, but getting the level is probably better, so let's go for that. Again, it's an extra unit, but they're weak to me. The first thing that you look at when you attack is quickly gauge these powers. As a general rule, if you're 300 above, you're probably okay, but there's a lot of caveats to that. Flyers versus melee. Obviously, melee sucks against flyers. There are some things that might just have specific resistances. These numbers are not adjusted for the actual matchup. This power number is based off of the unit tier, and if it's been modded, heroes again are weighted a little differently, but this is just a generic value of what the game expects the strength to be, not exactly correct for the actual fight. So let's auto and see if I'm full of it. Nope, I won pretty handily. Again, I had that little bit of bio resist. I probably only took about 1 or 2 hits across the board. So now I instantly have 2 levels of veterancy on my Huntresses, so these guys have 8 more hit points, which is a huge deal. The 5% accuracy is nice, but it's mostly the hit points. From here on out, if I'm a little smart about what fights I take, I probably won't lose any more units. That's a huge production booster, which I will want, so let's move towards that. Again, I do have an initial mod. Oh, right, because I have the first text. But before we do that, let's quick talk about hero upgrades. Very quickly, because it deserves a further talk in a future video. But from a clearing perspective, there are a few here that you can pick early that are always good. Getting a heal early is often nice. It makes it harder for the AI to finish off things that are weak. The AI likes using heals. Getting one of the early commandos is okay. It's not the best. Usually pump a heal or a vitality once or twice into your hero to make sure that they can't lose to something stupid. And then a little bit more hero damage depending on what type of unit it is. If it's a sniper, damage can go a long way because you're adding a 10%, 20% multiplier to an already big number. If you're melee, you also probably want it because melee units tend to be very killy. If you're just a standard 3-shot ranged, or even a shotgun range that's a little less consistent, or if you're in the support vehicle, you probably don't want to worry about the damage ones from a clearing perspective. So with that in mind, I will take the heal over Revealing Soul on this. Acidic Composite isn't good on these guys. It might be good on those, but see, in simultaneous turns, it would take 2 turns. I want to save the Cosmite. We won't use it. Wounded Awakening, I got as a free tech. Biochemical as a free tech. That's great. And we'll end turn 1. Alright, let's back up. And do I want this blaster rifle? It's Overwatch, makes it a Void Tech unit. I won't use it now, so let's just take the gold. Alright, it's 3 Hopper Hounds. I expect again to win. Notice that this is a pretty low power. With the levels of veterancy, my power's gotten a lot stronger. Again, I have a lot of spare hit points, so I expect to be fine. And I'm pretty good. I took a little bit of damage on my hero, but my hero is very resilient because I picked a vehicle for him. Got a whole bunch of production, that's great. Let's start moving back, put the 3rd unit in. We can keep working towards that other scout, but I'm gonna then want a specialist center. Because, as I do a quick bit of further scouting here, because for Celestian here, I will want Lightbringers. They're gonna be my Sky Punchers, right? Because they punch out of the sky. And actually, let's just go for that right away. No reason not to. Society Research is the only thing here I want. New quest, that's actually better than it looks. Enlighten units do more damage, that's okay. But I think I'll put one of these doctrines in, so let's grab Frontier Facilities. Speaking of doctrines,
operations
I
available
haven't
for
activated
priming.
one. Let's go for the food buff early and end my turn. I have now grown a size. I can leave it on growth, I think. I'm gonna want my influence for my first city, so let's not worry about clearing that. Which means, do I want the production booster early or the research booster? Let's... It's not optimal, but we'll cheat a turn because I just want to pick something. So, again, weak stack should be fine. It was fine. I wanted the skirmisher barracks. I queued up the wrong one because I was stupid. And we'll do some basic scouting. Nothing too much interesting. Yep, and enter. Again, I have 7 more turns on that quest, so let's work towards clearing this out because I want the research boost. And let's actually get the production for my first city, I guess. That gets me Light's Embrace. My first unit very quickly. Aquatic Deployment actually isn't bad here. They're very good expansions, but my second sector expansion is probably going to be that food booster that the growth are sitting on. So I won't be needing this for a while. If I'd have had it turn 1, that might have been my first expansion point, but I don't. I will continue to go energy, although my thoughts on this have changed somewhat since I did the first video. I've played more games, but I'll continue with energy. That wasn't guarded, was it? Nope, so I got some Cosmite. Alright, that is maybe not my intended one to find first, but it's fine. Good rule of thumb to note on standard length, with the race of your type. Well, actually, it's highlighted. I didn't notice that, but it's 45 influence, so that's a good number to keep in mind to time that out well. Again, I didn't notice that if you hover over it, it tells you what you'll need. That's a very nice feature. Hooray for learning things. Another thing to note is once your city gets large enough to pop a sector, if you build a colonizer to get you below that size, you don't lose the expansion. So I'm still going to be expanding even though I'm only down to size 3. My colonizer, I will want the Cosmite early, so let's just head that way. There's nothing to really differentiate between those two, so let's do this one. I could found it in the Cosmite, but I don't remember what was on that. I should have paid attention. If it's growth, I'll buy them off, but if it's a real thing, that gets more questionable. Do I have a... This scout's gonna be my real scout, and I'm gonna just remember to pick that up. Let's actually go back and check that. So that is not growth, that's Paragon, who I think are actually okay to be at peace with early, but for the sake of a how to clear, let's pretend like we won't do that. I'm gonna have an extra bunch of production from that, plus I built a production building, so I don't really need it. Do I want energy exploitation? Sure, let's just get energy. And with these guys, now we can backtrack and get that, which I think is probably what I want to do. Great, found some place to look at later. Alright, so we're up to turn 6. Let's just close the channel and get that research. Okay, great. Yeah, let's just settle. Ooh, wait, what is that? That is influence, which is okay. That's happiness. Yep, I'm fine just settling here. Let me double check that. Yep, it doesn't matter what. So let's just found that colony. Which again, that's about right. You will most likely want your first colony out by around now. Turn 5's a little aggressive. Maybe it can be done. Turn 10 is too late, so right around now is fine. It might have been a little later. If I'd have lost a unit in one of those first couple clears, I probably would have built a unit to get to 6 stack before getting that colonizer. This stack is a little stronger, but not really. It's mostly melee units, which can be a problem, but my melee unit is very strong and survivable. Let's just put stagger resistance. Well, I'm going to distract myself, and before I do that, which mod do I like better? Do I like this stagger resistance mod, or this stagger resistance mod? It's closer than it seems, because the unit's already enlightened, because it's a hero. And then it comes down to the foe arc resistance isn't a huge deal, but this is a armor point instead of a shield point. So this will help when it's in melee, whereas this will not help when it's in melee. I do think this is better, but I have this now. And for the sake of slightly better clearing, and I won't need a whole bunch more Cosmite in the near future. Let's put that one on, just to have it. Or just to have something. Other things to kind of keep in mind is it's nice to know what strength of things you think you can fight. It's also nice to have a little bit of a plan in mind. So I'm going to grab this. I had more time, but once I clear this out, I'm going to be heading up here to clear this Cosmite out, clear this other stack. So I won't be coming back. and my second stack won't be up in time. So I needed to get this out. It's going to make another turn or two where I don't get anything else accomplished for a while, but it'll be done and it'll finish the quest. See, this one is the one that's closer. This is actually the city I was supposed to find right away, and not this one. This was just lucky. As far as which one I'll actually want to buy right away, it doesn't really matter. I'll want them both. And neither one of them is, well, from what I can tell so far, neither one of them is actually anything that's particularly attractive, like, you know, basically just Cosmite. I can't afford another colonizer, and it'd be a little early anyways. I typically like to go to size 8 before I get the next city out, especially when I know where I can influence by a third city. Energy I don't super need immediately, but I'm 3 turns away from the units I really want to build. Right now, really the decision I would have in a standard multiplayer game is, do I want another scout, or do I want the energy quicker? Or do I want to build military infrastructure now when I have free time and try to slow down a rush? I actually think if it's a player I've played before and know how they go, the decision's a little easier. If it's somebody I've never played, it's actually also a little easier. If it's a player that I've played before and I don't know which way they're going to go, that's the hardest decision. My default is I actually am very high on the military infrastructure to get a little bit more militia. I don't have anything better to do with that production right now anyways, so let's queue that up. That being said, I probably would do a strike first in most normal games, and that'll time out pretty well. I get my strike, 2 turns for the military infrastructure, then I'll be ready to build my lightbringers. Okay, I have another mission for the Paragon, which I guess is fine. I'll get a reward from it, and it's right here, so it's not really out of my way. Some slight optimization things here. Nah, that wasn't super optimal. It still didn't save me much. Auto combat. See, I did lose a unit. They must have both rushed it, or the destroyer got up in my face. So losing a unit's not the end of the world. I've got pretty good clearing, and I've got a whole bunch of veterancy levels. It just means I need to build another unit to replace it. Oh, Steel Strike. Do I want Tactical Aid Rig? Not really. It's okay, not great. The 5 health is probably the best thing about it, but I think it would also make my hero heal instead of hit people. And the heal that my hero got for being Amazon is 30. This is at best 21, and it takes all the action points as opposed to just being a 1 action point. Oh, yeah, I think it's a 1 action point. I'll look in a second. So let's just sell it, take the influence, and not worry about the rest. Renewal is a single action, so that's much better. Again, nothing there. Now I will take Revealing Soul. I was ready Enlightened, but now I inflict Soul Burn. Steady Aim isn't super helpful on me. Deadeye is actually pretty good. I have a whole bunch of happiness on it anyways, so this would stack my accuracy and critical hit pretty high. So yeah, let's not think too much about it in this video yet. That was a movement booster, so I can just start heading towards that right away while I'm at it. 1 second while Discord's popping off. I should quick check that. Nope, nothing I want to worry about. I will backtrack for the Cosmite and then come back for the production. I picked up the other Cosmite before. That was guarded, right? No, it wasn't. I missed it. 40 of 45. So I'm here now, but I'm also here now. I am most likely to have a... Well, these mountains are a pain in the ass. But there's a spawner right next to this site, and there aren't any spawners by this one. So I'm going to make my decision based on the fact that this is going to be a little harder for me to defend when that spawner pops, probably in the next couple turns. So I will move away from this site. I will send this guy out straight south, I think. So I move away from that site because this one's the one I'm going to buy out with this strike. And let's get that queued up so I don't forget for next turn. You produce that one unit, now you're going to be building infrastructure. My second city is ready. That's going to be a problem. That might actually beat my defenders. In the second city, in the absence of any other real persuasive thing to do, let's just do production so I don't think too much about it. And enter. Okay. So this is another auto battle thing to deal with. In the simultaneous games that I play, you would have the chance to manual. You get the combat cards, so it's possible to do. This is one of those fights that a manual is probably an easy win. In auto, it looks a little scary because you're weaker, but you do have defenses. 3 Hopper Hounds is all melee, but I have a Shrike, which is a pretty good combat unit. It's also a flyer, which they can hit, but they have to get really close to, and they do a lot less damage than my other units. So let's auto it, and again, we win handily. That is a case of understanding that you have a huge map advantage when playing defense. I've just got a better combination of units than the AI does. And there's also a case of typically most of the Marauder units, and by that I mean Hopper Hounds, the Quartzites, and the animal shrikes and some of the other animals, they're typically a little bit weaker at the same tier than you would otherwise expect. They all have toys that in a player's hands are fine, but in the AI's hands they tend to be a little not as good as compared to a tier 1 unit of a race.
Let the Lightbringers burn.
Okay, so I have Lightbringers. Do I want penance? Yeah, it's fine. But I really want these guys, so let's go for my Amazon mods that I love so much. What's in this stack? A Foeman, which isn't scary. A Chupo, which is okay. The trenches do a lot of damage. 440. I'm gonna take the fight. I would have either way. I guess I could bring the Shrike in. I normally wouldn't bother. And let's do the fight without it to see if my judgment is correct. I actually think the Shrike would probably be not guaranteed death, but a lot more likely to die. The AI likes to shoot flyers. So let's auto this. We won handily.
Objective completed.
I can take that reward because it's gold to begin with. Now I can send this guy south to keep looking at stuff. This guy will send in a slightly different direction. Cosmite. Head towards that production so I don't forget it. More production. Right, good thing I had this queued so I didn't forget. Yep, we will buy this out, turn it into a colony. So that means now I'm at 3 cities before turn 10, which is about right. I may be a little faster than I would think I need to be, but it's good. It's approximately what I want. And what just happened? Oh, that guy stole it. Okay, cool. Not a huge loss. Take some more minerals. That is scouted. That is scouted. Oh, this is I didn't make this Pangea. I was wondering why I haven't found the other guy. This is continents, I think. Okay, so now let's go back up. I've got 7 turns to get to here, and I can make it in 3. It's also going to time out pretty well that I'm going to be right next to this in time for when this pops. I can start making my Lightbringers. I won't worry about any other stuff just yet. Let's continue scouting. Okay. Grab that. Okay. Now in my second spot here. What's its size? 3 of 6. It'll grow in 3 turns. It'll go in 2 turns. Again, let's pop the military infrastructure, and after that we'll do a colonizer out of here, I think. I'm pretty sure I can support 1 more colonizer even once I begin producing the other stuff. This is an interesting fight because I may actually win this. I've seen this be a victory. The Amazon Shrike, the laser repeater, is air-to-air advantage, so it's actually very, very good against animal strikes. And again, the Hopper Hound has trouble dealing damage, so we'll auto it. And he got smoked. It happens. Looks like I had some bad hit chances, and the AI probably moved it just the wrong distance to where all three of these hit it at once, and it got one shot in one turn. Ooh, this is exactly what I want. I shall take that hero. That saves me the necessity of getting this unit in there. Your first hero you buy doesn't have any skill points. I could give it a Bioblaster. I don't think that's necessary. I will give it Stagger Resistance. Throw it in that stack. This is timing out really nice. 9. Yeah, so that whole deal was stupid, but it's stuff like this does happen in multiplayer games. It isn't the end of the world. Like, again, I would really like to have that city. It's going to put me a little behind my intended curve of 3 cities by turn 10. The thing is, even if I'd have been here, it wouldn't have been any better, because there was that wildlife nest here, and I bet it would have had a spawner in the same boat. I could have left it and scouted a little and came back. That may have been the better decision now that I'm actually spending time to think about it. But for now, we'll just fix it as it comes and not get too depressed yet. Protective grounding is great, but I don't really need it. These mods do very similar things. What I wanted was primal control. Yeah, I can handle that. Let's quickly buy, please vacate 32. Okay, we'll come back to that. I think I will wait the turn, although that I would be going, or that I will wait the turn. And this is a good time now, I think, too. I don't need the food so much. In fact, I will down the food and leave it equal along all the other ones. I do need to worry about happiness. That's only one turn. That's pretty easy to deal with. I could build a colonizer out of here, but no, I will build it out of this one now that this one's popped. I really want to get that Cosmite one. This is a flying unit, so let's send that to get the Cosmite going. I still haven't decided if I'm going to attack that Paragon stack or buy it off. Okay, so my opponent is Vanguard. Great, cool. Yep, I know that too, and let's end the turn. Easy fight. I'm 3 times as strong. I should win with no losses. Plus now I have 2 Lancers, so my heroes will do a lot of my tanking. These guys can all just shoot from the back like I want. I expect that this can probably handle most things. Even probably stuff that's nominally stronger than what the stack number is. This is influence income guarded by the Paragons, who I won't want to buy off. That means I think I will probably end up attacking that Cosmite, because I'm going to want to attack those guys as well. I also don't have the influence because I was going to buy off the growth, so I'm low on energy this turn. That's alright, I'll build the Cosmite. Can I make that faster? I cannot, so let's leave that. I don't need anything in happiness for the immediate moment, so let's do that. Growth wants Cosmite. What's the quest? That's in where I want to go. Okay, I've got kind of the first stuff I wanted. Celestial Rain and Judgment is fine. Let's start working towards effectiveness now, because I can't get another Doctrine. I actually don't need that right now, but this is Paragon. I'm going to decline it because I expect to go to war with them. The influence now is technically better than clearing this out. So yeah, I guess let's declare on these guys first. Auto that, no losses, easy fight. Get some science. I now have Primal Control, which is another mod that I was really interested in. Actually, a couple mods. Both of these are probably good. I don't want to think too hard about this. There is a discussion to be had as far as which theme mods I actually want on my Lightbringer, but I won't worry about it right now. Let's just do Star Presence and forget about the rest. Operational effectiveness. Continue doing a little bit of scouting. Continue doing a little bit of scouting. Void Hammer, it doesn't work, I can't put it on my vehicle units. Shrill of Discord is a primary weapon that is actually very cool. It's cool enough to take, I guess. Alright, so where does the third colonizer go? For now it stays in here. Well, no, that has a ways to walk. That can work, and this reach to not very far. That's another little thing in case you don't know. If you highlight a Marauder stack or an opponent stack, you can see what its nominal movement is. And then the thing that you can't do is you see the whole stack. You can't, you can do that. If you hover over this, you can see if just that one unit. Again, the AI won't split a stack typically. I don't know if a player racer will, but NPCs never will. A player can, so if that had been one tile closer, one of these strikes could have made it and killed it, but it's good for now. I guess let's just start working towards laser turrets. I don't want to think too hard about that, that's not the point of this. Right, this I actually probably will win, so let's auto it. No, I did not. Wow, got smoked. That's really unfortunate. Let's think about why. I probably should have even looked to figure out why. Did I just get stagger locked? Probably. I bet, again, the AI probably moved in a little close and then got stagger locked. Which that is one thing to note. That melee units can fight out of their weight class, because if they get there, they will be very strong. If you don't have enough range damage to kill them before they get to you, you can lose poorly and badly in auto from that. Again, that was just kind of my own, not really paying attention like I would maybe in a normal game, as far as that guy was right there and I moved a undefended supported unit right next to it to get sniped out. But yeah, these little passes have been real annoying. Let's auto this. No losses, easy fight.
Objective completed.
I'll take the research, why not? Let's get this. Should auto. No losses, easy fight. Although, got really close. One of these things, probably the tier 2 Hopper Hound, got up in this thing's face and got some good hits off. This is a unit. This is a vehicle. That's just a lot of gold. Now, one thing that's nice about being a support unit along in this stack is now I'm going to be getting extra healing. You'll note that I'm going to be getting 12 healing out of combat this turn for this unit. Again, without getting too worried about it, let's just grab renewal and not think about it. For this guy, Aura of Guidance is 10% accuracy, which is very nice. I will do Infantry Commander, that's only a good one to put in your hero. Most of your starting units are infantry, and now I'm starting to get to the point of thinking a little bit less about what I will want immediately for clearing and more of what I might want against a real player. Again, I have the Cosmite and the gold. I could do some modding, I probably should. Let's do Can No Longer Be Flanked on both these guys. And actually on this one too, yeah, let's just put both of those on. It's fine. This is a Celestian as well. That's good. That's a lucky pickup.
Operations available for priming.
Nope, don't need any of those right now. None of this is super mattering. So let's just get the closest one so I can have the colony built fast. Like I said, I'm a little behind the curve right now because of that one stack that's doing unfortunate things. I have found the AI opponent. It's turn 13. I'm not particularly doing a rush build, but this is, you probably want to know where your opponent is sometime by turn 10 to 15. On this particular map type, I haven't really been aggressively checking directly in between me and the opponent, but you notice I did send one scout out in this general direction to where I expected him to be so I could find him. I will now be trying to look and see if I can find a hero stack, because my next goal now is I have a decent defensive stack. Like, this is fine. This is a strong stack when it's supported by colony militia, but what I really want to know is my opponent trying to rush me? Which means that's my second goal for my scout. Find my opponent, I know where he is. Second, find his armies and know where they are. Yeah. So in pursuit of that, I've picked up quite a bit of pickups on my half of the map. There might be some other ones out there, but I probably want this. I want to strike a little bit closer to home now to be patrolling the area in between me and my opponent, and hopefully find a rush stack if they're coming. This guy is kind of my spare. He can keep going out and try to find things that are on the ground, keep making me income. I am kind of in the spot where I want this cause my research center because my units are expensive, but I will probably pump out a strike before I start pumping out more light bringers. As much as I really want the army, I want the scouting a little more. That's something that may easily and obviously change if I find a rush stack coming in. It isn't out of the question to have some pretty scary stuff rolling on you by turn 20. 15's a little hard. I've seen it kind of get done. But turn 20, you really want to know that you have enough to be able to deal with the rush if you're not the rusher. So let's hit that turn. Again, I should easily win now because, again, I have the defensive train advantage. I built that extra little colony militia stuff. I have more units than they do. All this stuff is melee. I didn't even lose a unit in that fight, finally. So now let's head back towards that way like I wanted in the first place. I did forget to buy this. Whoopsie doodle. This is always where I'm not quite sure what research to take now. I will get this, I guess, because I kind of want that doctrine for just straight damage. Alright, so I did find the opponent's stack. Got a little lucky there. I will probably, now that I see what he has, in an actual multiplayer game, I would do my best to kind of just keep a strike on it so I know where that stack is at all times. I consider the upkeep of one scout to be worth the knowledge of knowing where my opponent's primary offensive stack is. I don't want to stack out. One-tone guard. Now I'm kind of to where gold is going to be a limiter very soon, so let's pump out some gold, and then let's just queue up my normal defensive stuff that I think I'm always going to want. I have now I've been a little more of a fan of trying to rush food to get your first sector expansion or two, just so you also get a little more pop income as well. So let's do that. I've got 6 and 7 turns. It doesn't matter which one of these I do, but I really want the Cosmite quicker and the expansion quicker, so let's head towards that. Yep. So now that I do know where my opponent's primary stack is, this unit can go back to kind of just scouting, so let's get some of this black cleared out. Alright, now, is there any other stuff I want to? Well, let's do one more auto clear, to kind of show how strong I think stuff may or may not be. before we do that, let's quick, annex that. And then get this fight in. Again, now we're starting to get to... The game hasn't started to put mods on neutral stacks yet. But the stacks are typically 4 units instead of 3, although Cosmites are stronger to begin with. This is a tier 3 unit, which is normally pretty scary. It's got a pretty high damage at range. And it can do some staggering stuff. The guards are a little less scary typically. I've got 2 strong melee. There is a Plasmoid, which is an annoying unit for the AI to deal with because it has Lash Out. That's something that it has trouble understanding how to deal. I will handily win this fight. The question is, will I lose a unit? My estimation is no. I think my melee can beat their melee and not die. The trick is going to be as if something gets behind and starts gunning after the Huntresses. So let's auto and see. Nope, I won it handily, as expected. Oh, what's the video time right now? So we're at the long enough part of the video that I don't think I will be able to get into kind of generic, even be able to get into generic tactical stuff. I guess I'll have to wait for one more and push that to the next video. Hopefully for this one, again, it's kind of been one half of generic things to start the game that I always am looking at, and then one half a little bit of auto considerations and what I might be looking for before I take an auto fight. Hopefully all that information is useful in one way or another. I don't... that is a secondary weapon, so yeah, let's take it. Just because I don't have a secondary on this guy. So yeah, again, it's been haphazard. It's always kind of hard for something like the auto one. A lot of it depends on what it is on the map, of what discussions I can have as far as autoing. But to kind of hopefully summarize it a little bit, you want a 6 stack, because every unit you get, and this will come into the tactical discussion, every unit you have is more actions and more damage. And it's a more opportunity for the AI to split its attention. Once you have a 6 stack, you also want to understand what of your units are ranged, what of your units are melee. Are you attacking ranged or melee? Because of the interaction that the AI will have as far as what it focuses and when. Veterancy is very good. A veteran unit with more HP tends to be disproportionately good in clearing. There are some mods that can help if you think you really need them. I haven't put them on because none of my mods are really super great for Huntresses. I do have mods on my 2 melee units, and that's another bit of advice. If you're doing multiplayer and you're a little afraid of having auto all the time, some of the ways to get around that is you can either take the larger starting army perk, which will give you a melee unit. You can also just start with a melee hero. Starting with a melee hero by itself is a little risky. You're almost certainly fine if you just are attacking the 300 to 400 strength, triple hopper hound stacks to start the game. But you will want to make sure that you pop a couple vitality upgrades on it. And there's some other, again, discussion for another day maybe, there are some other very useful hero skills if you have a melee hero that's going to be mostly unsupported. Otherwise, you probably want at least 2 melee in your stack if you're going to be using melee at all. Just because if you have 1 melee, it's going to get focused, and that'll be the unit that dies. Which you may want to do. That is a trick that I haven't used here because I haven't felt I needed it. You can bring something along like a scout as a sacrificial unit. So do like a 6+1. Or even just have a strong 5 units and then have something like a scout as your 6 unit, and that'll be the one that's most likely to get punched out. I got a free unit from something, complaining the invader. Got to an exit. I guess I'll just leave you in my capital for now, and I can finally build my Lightbringers. I don't want another colonizer just yet. And here, well, maybe I lied. I think I would build one more colonizer in a real game. Anyways, as I end the turn here, that's my quick, somewhat distracted, but hopefully good enough summary of auto clearing. Like I said, I expect the next one, I'll probably just start from this game, and I'll use this stack to attack something and do a tactical battle. It won't be super representative, but it'll at least give me an excuse to talk about generic tactical considerations and then a little bit of early game Amazon tactical considerations, you know, with the units that you're likely to have access to in the first 20 turns. How do you use them? What do you want to be doing? That being said, once again, thanks for watching the video and enjoy Planetfall.